Right, if you're in the market for one of these babies, I would recommend just holding off a little bit longer, okay? Because we've got our first shred of leaks for the M4 MacBook Pros. Yes, the M4 chip is out, but only in an iPad that really can't take advantage of its performance. So I know, a big shocker, right? They're going to put an M chip in a Mac. Wow. Yeah, this packaging leak came from Shrimp Apple Pro, and while it's not verified, I think it's likely pretty real. I mean, Burkhart pointed out on 9 to 5 Mac that it has a very, very small QR code, which they only recently started adding on the iPhone 16 packaging. It's possible it's fake, but it's probably real at this point. And even though they didn't reveal the design, they didn't show anything except this packaging, just the packaging in itself was actually quite telling, because the packaging gives away that the M4 MacBook Pro, again, this is not the M4 Pro, M4 Max, this is the entry-level cheapest MacBook Pro, already has quite a few upgrades compared to last year's M3 entry-level MacBook Pro, which really ticked off a lot of the tech community for not having as many Thunderbolt ports, not having 16 gigs of RAM by default. A lot of people thought 8 gigs of unified memory has no place on something with the Pro naming scheme. So hopefully this packaging ends up being legit, because it has 16 gigs of unified memory by default, as well as a 10-core CPU as standard instead of the 8-core CPU that you find on the M3 MacBook Pro currently. And all that is cool, but I don't think the people buying the entry-level MacBook Pro really care all that much. Like, they're buying it for the name, but if you're the kind of person that buys the entry-level MacBook Pro with no upgrades, for a while now, that's just been for people who want, like, the slightly better display. But what really bugged me, that was kind of a deal breaker personally for opting for the base model M3 MacBook Pro previously, was there was only 2 Thunderbolt ports. I already feel like it's a stretch living with the 3 Thunderbolt ports on my MacBook Pro. I personally kind of miss the days where we had 2 USB-C ports on both sides. I'm not the biggest fan of MagSafe. Like, I like being able to plug in whatever I want, power on the right side, high-speed data and video output on the left side. So I prefer having that control. But the good news is this packaging is alluding to a 3rd USB-C port being present even on the base model, which means that perhaps the M4 chip is upping the number of Thunderbolt controllers from the base model M3 chip. And there's even references to Space Black coming to the entry-level MacBook Pro based on the little acronyms you can see on the packaging. Whereas before, you had to spend $2,000 to get a hold of Space Black on the MacBook lineup. Now, hopefully, it will be available at the same price as like $1,600 and still be available in Space Black. And Space Gray can hopefully just be gone for good. But I'm willing to entertain a theory that I'm not seeing that many others entertain on the internet. There is a way that this packaging is real and is not a fake, while simultaneously could end up still being a disappointment to us. See, I'm pitching, for one, there could just be a price hike. It might now start at $1,800 or $1,900 and have 16 gigs of unified memory by default. That would be a big disappointment, I think, to a lot of people. Or there's also the chance that this is the packaging, but not for the absolute base model. There's still a very real chance that they could let you spec up the M4 chip to be not binned, and that one comes with 16 gigs of unified memory, and maybe that one is now Space Black and has the 10-core CPU. But it's possible we're looking at the packaging of not quite the base model, which means there still theoretically could be an M4 chip with 8 gigs of unified memory and an 8-core CPU. That would suck. Really hope it ends up not being true. The optimist in me, though, says that this is the base model. Hopefully Apple heard all of the feedback last year, just decides to up the unified memory to 16 gigs simply because they know now with all of these Apple Intelligence features that RAM is going to be a lot more helpful in the long run. So Apple just decides, you know what, all Macs now should come with 16 gigs by default, at least if they're going to be rocking the M4 chip, which probably will be a little bit more Apple Intelligence heavy. And here's hoping at the event they have some kind of Mac-centric Apple Intelligence features that can really take advantage of the new M4 chips, which should be in new MacBook Pros, a new iMac that will still be ugly as well, but most importantly, the redesigned super compact Mac Mini. Can't wait to see that one. But what do you guys think? What are you most excited for at the October event, which should be just a couple of weeks away unless Apple pushes it to November, but shouldn't be that long of a wait now. All those thoughts, let me know what you're thinking down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. This is your Apple Shape here, and I will see you all in the next one.